Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to do a quick review of this Metabo 23 gauge pin nailer and compare it to the Metabo 18 gauge pin nailer. So I started a project. Behind me you can see it. It's a board and batten beadboarded ceiling, and Cami and I worked for about, how many days was it? Like 4 days straight, doing 3 rooms, probably about 8 to 10 hours a room to do that. Let me know if you've ever done this and the actual time that it took you to do it, because I'm kind of curious. Anyways, we chose the 23 gauge Metabo initially because it was the most affordable option. I think it was like $129. And this 23 gauge pin nailer is probably more suited for like finishing and like really light furniture construction, like doing like furring and stuff like that. In that scenario, it'd probably work great if you were just doing like little craft projects and doing really like detail ornamental furniture where you just need really thin nails. And then comparing it to the 18 gauge, this one is like job site ready. Whenever you pick it up, it just feels like it's contractor proof, and you could go out and frame up a lot of stuff with it, at least to tack it all together. That thing feels like you could drop it off the roof and it would be fine. And obviously the nails are a lot more robust. These are 18 gauge, so a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, and they actually have a sort of nail head on the top. It's tiny, but it's there. And with the 23 gauge, I don't know if I have any nails in here. Oh, I do. These ones are pretty much just little needles that go into your wood. And that was definitely naivety on my behalf, thinking that we would try to nail up a bunch of beadboard and trim with this. This would be fine for just holding trim on like a baseboard or around the crown, but for like actual fastening above the head, it's just a shit show. So that's kind of what I wanted to get into. The 23 gauge, we just had to give up and lose hope on it. It actually broke within the first 2 days of using it. The first day kind of did the job, but we lost about 2 to 3 hours of time unjamming it and like trying to determine if it was the nail gun or what was going on with it. But if you're trying to do like anything beyond extremely light duty craft work with this, then I would just avoid it and get the 18 gauge. This one is, again, a lot more robust. It's a little bit more pricey at like, I think it's like $200, but again, you could do so much more with this one. So for the first 2 days we were working with this, and then we had like a mental breakdown and just determined that we had to stop. It literally was like you would shoot 5 to 10 nails and then it would jam, shoot 5 to 10 nails and then it would jam. And I've researched a lot of reviews and looked into a lot of different reviews for this nail gun on different channels, not YouTube, but like different websites. And it has a lot of good reviews, but whenever you look at the 1-star reviews, they're all the same and everyone's experiencing the same thing. People are getting really upset at how badly this one jams on probably projects that are more specific than what we were doing. A lot of the reviewers were like craftsmen, and they were working in a trade trying to use this thing, and it was still really messed up. So I can't really account the fact that this was getting so jammed by our inexperience with it. I think it's just a trait of the 23 gauge pin nailer, and we just had to move on. I want to fix this. It actually, on the top here, you had to unscrew these Allen bolts, and in there's a firing pin. The firing pin actually, since it jammed so much, it actually sheared off the side of the firing pin, and now this nail gun won't even fire after 2 days of use. But I would like to replace it or maybe return it. Don't know how good Lowe's is with returns. But that being said, I just wanted to let anybody know out there, if you're looking into the 23 gauge Metabo, don't get it. It's a huge waste of time and money. The 18 gauge nails aren't much thicker, or the diameter of them isn't much bigger, and you could do a lot more with it. The minute that we started using the 18 gauge, we finished the ceilings in at least tacking the beadboard up. We finished it in a matter of like 2 hours, whereas with the smaller one we were spending 2 hours trying to unjam it, and this one finished the job without a hitch. I was able to just bang out nails left and right, no problem. And you're able to actually, let me take the battery out. I treat this like a firearm. You're able to continuous fire this thing because it actually has the proper like nail gun. I don't know what this is called. It's like the press safety, but you could continuously fire this thing. Whereas with the 23 gauge, you can't do that. Even though it's a little bit dangerous to do that up on a ceiling, if you're doing stud work, then this is really awesome functionality because you could just rapidly nail and fasten. But this 18 gauge one is just superior in all ways. I think the 23 gauge one was just like a afterthought for Metabo to try to get one out there, but this one's definitely their bread and butter. And if I would have seen a video explaining that about the smaller one, I probably wouldn't have gotten the smaller one. And I would demonstrate this, but we don't really have anything to nail into anything. There's just a small piece of wood over there, but it's pretty quiet. And for somebody that hasn't really worked with a nail gun, it didn't seem too overwhelming to use. I just went right into it and it felt natural. So the 18 gauge Metabo 18 volt pin nailer, brad nailer, whatever you want to call it, this one is the winner. And if you're looking into getting the 23 gauge or the 18 gauge, just go with 18 gauge. The 23 gauge one is a huge headache and it'll waste your time, probably money too. So that's my quick review of it. Let me know if you have any questions about it, and check out our home renovation, and see you on the next one.